A woman found documents suggesting her husband was being slowly poisoned at work. She brought them to the mayor. She brought them to the police. She brought them to the local newspaper. Every single one of them told her to stay quiet. This is the story of what she did next. Before the secrets, before the sickness, before the silence, Millinocket, Maine was something special. Nestled deep in the forests of northern Maine, this small town had one heartbeat: the Great Northern Paper Mill. Fathers worked there, sons worked there. Sometimes 3 generations of the same family walked through the same factory doors. The mill didn't just pay the bills, it was the town. The schools, the shops, the roads, all of it existed because of that mill. In the 1970s and 80s, Millinocket was booming. People called it the Magic City. But behind the smokestacks and the prosperity, something was quietly going wrong. A cough here, a breathing problem there, a cancer diagnosis that didn't quite make sense. Workers were getting sick, and nobody was talking about it. Her name was Linda. She wasn't a journalist. She wasn't a lawyer. She didn't have money or connections or power. She was a wife, a mother, a regular woman sitting at a kitchen table trying to understand why her husband was dying. He had worked at the mill for 14 years. Now the doctors were using words like rare lung disease and limited prognosis. Linda called it something different. She called it preventable. So she started asking questions. At first, quietly. Then at town hall meetings. Then louder. What chemicals are being used inside that mill? Why are so many workers developing the same conditions? Why is no one talking about this? And that's when things got dark. Anonymous phone calls late at night. A note left under her windshield wiper that said, "Stop asking questions." Her kids were bullied at school. Old friends stopped returning calls. People crossed the street to avoid her. Because in a mill town, you don't bite the hand that feeds you. But Linda kept asking. Through a Freedom of Information request, Linda obtained internal documents, and what she found shook her. According to these documents, the company had conducted internal health assessments on workers going back as far as 1971. The assessments reportedly showed workers were being exposed to dangerous levels of industrial dust and chemicals, ventilation systems that may not have been adequate, safety protocols that may not have been followed, and yet workers were reportedly never informed. Meanwhile, former mill workers in Millinocket were being diagnosed with conditions like mesothelioma, pulmonary fibrosis, rare cancers that take years to develop, and even longer to trace back to a source. That delay wasn't accidental, because by the time someone connects the dots, the evidence gets old, the workers get old, and the company stays protected. Linda had a list, names of workers, their jobs inside the mill, their diagnoses. The patterns were undeniable, but patterns aren't proof. And in a small town, proof is nearly impossible to find when the people who hold it are the same people running everything. Linda brought her documents to local government. She expected outrage. She got silence. The mayor's brother worked at the mill. The chief of police had retirement investments tied to the company. The only newspaper in town relied on mill advertisements to survive. In Millinocket, the mill didn't just run the factory, it ran everything. One official finally agreed to meet with Linda, in private, after hours. He looked at her documents. He looked at her face. And then he said something she never forgot. "Linda, you're right, but there's nothing I can do. This town needs that mill more than it needs the truth." She walked out of that meeting, got into her car, and drove straight to Portland. In Portland, she found a journalist willing to listen. In Boston, she found a lawyer willing to fight. It took 4 years. 4 years of documents, depositions, delays. The company's expensive legal team doing everything possible to exhaust her. But Linda didn't break. Eventually, a class action lawsuit was filed against the paper company. 31 families joined. Families who had lost fathers, families who had lost wives, families who had spent years wondering why, and finally had someone in a courtroom asking the same question. The company eventually settled, out of court, quietly. No criminal charges were ever filed. No executives were held accountable. The settlement amounts were sealed, meaning to this day, we still don't know how much those 31 families received, or whether it was anywhere close to enough. The Great Northern Paper Mill closed permanently in 2008. Today, Millinocket is barely a shadow of what it once was. The population dropped by more than half. The diner is closed. The buildings are empty. The magic city, gone. The men and women who built that town, who gave their lungs, their health, their years, most of them are gone too. Linda's husband passed away in 2003. Linda still lives in Millinocket. She still talks about what happened. She still has the documents, because someone has to remember. Because powerful institutions have long memories, and they count on ordinary people having short ones. But the truth has a way of surviving. It doesn't always arrive on time. It doesn't always bring justice with it, but it survives because of people like Linda who refused to let silence win.
The sealed settlement, the executives who walked away, the documents Linda still keeps in a box under her bed. That story is coming next. Subscribe, because Millinocket isn't the only town with a secret. We're just getting started.